Hi, welcome. Today I wanted to share a couple of quick facts about the local market with you so that you have an understanding of what we're seeing as the market normalizes and as it shifts around. So as we get into looking at, as we're concluding August, concluding the 8th month in the year, and I will note that it sure feels like 2022 is flying by. As we look at what's happening year to date in the market, I found some interesting stats that I wanted to share with all of you as it relates to the local market, being the Iron County local market. There is a little bit of data in here that's going to be feed from other areas with agents that have listed, but predominantly this is going to just be what's happening here on the hyper local side of what's happening. We've talked about what's going on at a national level, and in September we'll come back with some additional new numbers as we have the full numbers from August, and as we look at what's happening on a national scale and how we're comparing to that as the market continues to normalize, as rates continue to fluctuate, and as we continue to see some inflation numbers progress. So I wanted to share with you that year to date in the current market, we have had 622 new or active listings that we currently have, and we've sold right at 1,400 homes in the Iron County area. Seems like a lot, but I want to break it down a little bit because I think that the key number when we look at the average price point is very telling based on our income, our job sectors, and what's happening in the households. Inflation impacting that as well. Interest rates impacting that also. So in 2021, while rates were low, we saw people buying at a higher price point. We saw people getting outside of their normal approved price point and being able to buy higher because the payment was lower and we were buying payments at the time. Now, as we look at the total asset, we're analyzing and talking about the total purchase. And so what's interesting to me is that so far this year, in the 1,400 homes that we've sold, the average price point has been $480,000 plus or minus $500 for those homes. That's the average. The number of homes that have come back on market that have either expired, meaning they were listed, that listing was not sold, and then it was again not renewed or continued to stay active in the market, but it just expired off. And then the number of households that either canceled their listing, said, hey, we're on market, we want to sell. Hey, based on what we can sell for or what we're getting as far as interest, we're not willing to, we're going to pull it off and keep it. Or, hey, we're just going to withdraw it and we're going to wait a time. Here's what's interesting about that. Keeping in mind that of our total sold number, we're 480,643 as the average price point. Of the houses that came back on market for whatever reason, and they can be many, the average was 529,700. Of the homes that expired and didn't relist, the average was 792,000. And then of those that were withdrawn or canceled, the average was 847,000. So here's the dynamic or the parallel that I'm going to pull together. And this is according to me. As we overpriced homes, or as we tried to stretch the market that we were seeing happen in 2021, we had a lot of homes that came in and they were overpriced, and those sellers either became frustrated or they realized that the market wasn't going to support it because the payment was so much more. And so we had a change or a shift. They left the market, bringing our average price point back down to more of an affordable median or average that our market is supporting based on current incomes. So as we watch interest rates change, as we watch inflation change, this is going to affect the numbers that we see as far as what you can get from your home, what the value is, what the buyer value is. I'm going to come back in another segment. We're going to talk about buyer versus seller markets. But right now in Iron County, we still are in a seller's market, keeping in mind that the price point, and depending on the strategy that you are using with the professionals that you hire to help you, is going to matter as to if you're successful in being able to sell or if you're going to have and experience more frustration. As always, remember that now more than ever, the strategy that you employ rules, and who you work with matters most. Have a great day.